Hello, welcome to my channel, Camille's Creations. I'm Camille. I would like to show you today how to make a double crochet, and we're going to practice our double crochet by making this easy double crochet washcloth. Perfect for the beginner crocheter because you will be practicing your double crochet stitches, 28 stitches into each row, 14 rows approximately depending on your tension. The time you finish this project, I hope you will be super comfortable making this easy double crochet stitch. Let's get started. For this tutorial, the yarn I'll be using is Loops and Threads Classic Cotton. It's 120 yards. It is a 4-weight, medium weight yarn. It recommends a 4.5 millimeter hook. You'll also need scissors, 2 stitch markers, a 6 millimeter hook, and a darning needle. You can use a different size hook. Just know that it can make your washcloth larger or smaller depending on whether you go up in hook size or down in hook size. As I'm crocheting, I tend to pull from the center of the skein. This is the tail end, and the yarn that comes from the skein is called the working end. Just reach inside the middle of your skein and grab a yarn and pull until you find the tail end. To make a slip knot, grab your tail end, wrap it around 2 fingers, and take that loop off of your fingers, holding where the yarn crosses. Pull the tail end underneath the loop and reach in the middle and grab that loop and pull. And that's how you make a slip knot. Now go ahead and pick up your hook and insert it into that loop and then pull. To hold my yarn, I wrap the working end around my pinky, bring it across my palm and around the back side of my pointer finger, and then I take my thumb and middle finger and hold right where that knot is. You want to hold your hook up, wrap your yarn around the hook, it's called a yarn over, and turn your hook down and pull through that loop. Bringing your hook back up, wrapping your yarn around and turning your hook down and bringing it through that loop. One more time, hook up, wrap your yarn around the hook and bring your hook down and pull through that loop, turning your hook back up. You can hold your yarn however is comfortable. This is how is most comfortable for me. Notice I also keep my finger on the yarn up here where the hook is, the loop on my hook to help control it, and I typically have my thumb and middle finger holding onto my work. That helps you control your yarn. Now you want to continue and chain 30 chains. You may have to practice this step a few times. As my chain grows, I reach up with my thumb and middle finger and hold closer to that loop on my hook. Now that we have 30 chains, the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. We are going to begin double crocheting into the 3rd chain from the hook. How you count your chain is not the loop on your hook. This first one is your first chain, second chain, third chain. We're going to go into this third chain. Again, hold your hook up and wrap your yarn around. And put your finger on that yarn to help control it. And then insert your hook into that V, right in the middle of that V. Yarn over and pull a loop through. Now you want to yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. And that is your first double crochet. You want to go ahead and take a stitch marker and insert it into the top of that double crochet to help you know which is your last stitch when you come back to get to the end of this row. Now let me show you again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain. Notice you have this chain kind of pulled up. So you yarn over and insert your hook into the next chain. In between those V's, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. There is 2 double crochets now. Let's do it one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into that V. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. You want to continue making double crochets all the way down the row. I'm at the end of my first row, and I want to put a stitch in that last chain. When you get to the end of row 1, your work should look like this, and you should have 28 stitches. Let me show you how to count your stitches. Here is stitch number 1. The 2 chains right here don't count. So this is stitch number 1 where that stitch marker is. You can count the V's to count your stitches. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's 28 stitches. You can also count your stitches like this. This chain 2 does not count. So here is stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I turn my work just like I'm turning the page of a book. Then go ahead and chain 2. Yarn over, insert your hook into the top of this first stitch. So you will go right there underneath the V's, between the V's and that back bump. pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now take your other stitch marker and insert it under the 2 stitches that form the V. Yarn over and insert your hook underneath the 2 stitches that form the V. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. One more time, yarn over, insert your hook under the 2 V's, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Now you want to continue this all the way down the row. Here we are at the end of row 2. In the last stitch, go ahead and take your stitch marker out. Make your double crochet. Turn your work. Chain 2, make your next double crochet into that first stitch, and don't forget to put your stitch marker back into that first stitch. That's going to help you with your count. I would suggest you go ahead and count your stitches in every row to make sure you have 28. Very common thing to happen when you're a beginner is to lose count of your stitches and your work starts to go inward or even grow outward, and that's because you're not counting your stitches. So continue making double crochets across the row, and we will continue to do this back and forth until you have a square. Okay, I'm working on my last row, row 14. I will go ahead and take out this stitch marker, put the last stitch in the row. Make sure my washcloth is square. Just go ahead and fold it on the diagonal. Seems pretty square to me. No worries if you have to make an additional row or 2 or an additional or a row or 2 less than I made, because that depends on your tension. So go ahead and pull that loop up, take your scissors and cut your yarn, and you want to weave in your ends. So take this stitch marker out, pull that loop through and give it a little tug, and then take your darning needle and thread that in. And I will just insert your darning needle into some stitch. Don't insert it into that same V because that will just pull that back out. Insert your darning needle in the stitch below it. I'm going to go down here. It's okay if you split your stitches, split your yarn. It helps the yarn stay in. And just pull that through. Making sure you don't pull it too tight so it still looks square. And then we're going to go under these stitches in this last row. I would thread that through several of them, maybe like 4 or 5 of them, and pull it through. And then I do this a couple of times to make sure it stays in there, but don't put it back through that same one you just came out of. Skip that leg of that stitch and then go through again. Again, it's okay if you split that stitch, split those yarns a little bit. It'll help keep that thread, it will help keep that yarn secure. Pull it back the other way. I have to give it a little bit of a tug. See how I cinched that up? Just pull it and make it relax. And then go back through. I like to go at least 3 times. Sometimes I go 4. Probably for a washcloth. It doesn't hurt if you go a few extra times because it's going to get used. And then clip your end. And you want to go ahead and do the same thing to the yarn end where you started your crochet project. And congratulations, you've just made a double crochet washcloth. You've had plenty of practice on this double crochet stitch, and you should consider yourself a pro. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please like and subscribe for more tutorials, and hit your notification button so you know when I drop a video. Thank you. Create your happy. Bye-bye.